Hi everyone, this is Cece Salomon-Lee with PRMM Interview. Today I have Tom Pick. Hi Tom, how are you?
Wonderful. Yourself, Cece?
Doing great. So Tom, can you give us a quick introduction of what you do?
Sure. I have been in marketing, B2B, business-to-business marketing for over 20 years. First part of that on the corporate side, and the last 11 years as an independent consultant. So what I have been doing for the last several years and what I'm doing today is I help a variety of B2B clients, mostly in the technology realm, so lots of software companies, some hardware, IT services, telecom, but mostly in the software space, with anything related to online or digital marketing. So SEO, SEM, content planning, execution, blogging, and social media. I work with clients of sizes ranging from solopreneurs up to $1 billion companies, and in some cases I'll just work with them one-on-one where I'm providing specific services. In other cases I do have several small marketing agencies that I work with for situations where the client also needs graphic design, website development, PR, those sorts of things. So I
You
can
know,
bring in those sources.
wow, that is a lot for a company to consider when you're thinking of digital marketing. What is your recommendation when you work with customers on where they should begin?
I often use the analogy of dropping a pebble into a pond. So you get there's the initial splash and then sort of, concentric ripples going out. The initial splash, or the center of the bullseye, if you prefer, is their website. So I generally work with clients to get their website solid first, and that means obviously professional design, mobile friendly, those sorts of technical elements, but also getting the architecture right, really designing it for their audience. You know, telling people very quickly when they hit your site, what do you do, who do you do it for, and why are you the best at it? Very clear navigation into different areas of the site, always sort of helping guide the visitor to what you would like them to do next. For example, if you're going after email signups, if you would like visitors in certain areas of the site to maybe download a white paper or an ebook or register for a webinar, making those calls to action very clear, very compelling, very easy to complete. Just getting sort of the whole website information, architecture, optimization, and conversion rate, and CRO type work, conversion rate optimization.
That's really important. I think that's a great point about starting with your website and getting that right there. Let's sort of look at a little bit larger picture. I mean, what have you been hearing as the biggest trend for digital marketing this year?
Interesting you should ask that. I actually worked with a cohort of mine on the West Coast to do a little research project right at the end of last year, and we asked a number of leading B2B bloggers what they saw happening. We basically asked the question, what do you see successful B2B marketers doing differently or more of in 2016? And got responses from more than 24 influential B2B bloggers, several of them authors, so people like Michael Brenner, Cheryl Burgess, who wrote the Social Employee, along with Mark Burgess, Jeff Cohen, who wrote the B2B social media book, Carla Johnson, who recently wrote a book with Robert Rose, called The Seventh Era of Marketing. So yeah, a number of very prominent bloggers chipped in with their ideas, and there were a number of themes that came out of that, but I guess the one I'd like to focus on, the one that really came through, even with the wide variety of answers, there was one area that got by far the largest amount of attention. That was around content marketing, and specifically for the coming year, focusing more on quality than quantity. People have figured out there is a deluge of content out there, and simply adding to the noise is, well, that's adding to the noise. So the focus will be more on quality over quantity, and specifically in three areas. First, targeting, so writing for very specific audiences, using personas and mechanisms like that, so that you're really writing for the needs of a very specific audience. Secondly, answering very specific questions for that audience. So really targeting the content to specific individuals or individuals of a specific characteristics with specific problems and solving those problems. And then the third aspect is appealing not just with facts and figures and statistics and top 10 lists and those sorts of things, but trying to connect on a more emotional level using humor, recognizing the different emotions that your audience is experiencing when they are having some sort of problem at work. There's probably frustration. They may have the objective of, getting a promotion or just sort of getting recognition within the company, making their own job easier so they can get home earlier in the evening. All those sorts of things. So connecting the sort of the factual, rational kind of B2B messaging with also taking into account the audience's feelings and emotions.
Well, I mean, that's all great insight in terms of helping companies with their B2B marketing. What about for those starting out in their careers? You've been doing this for a long time. What advice do you have for those seeking to really get into digital marketing and marketing right now?
For anyone getting started in their career, I mean, just the very, very general piece that I have learned, and I probably didn't do it well early in my career, and have gotten better at it as time has gone on, but wish I've been better at it right out of the gate, is just understanding the value of making connections and staying in touch with people and paying it forward. I was trying to help people out, not just contacting people when you need something, but staying in touch and really valuing those connections, because your career, whatever you're in, whatever field you're in, your career is going to take lots of twists and turns, over the course of your working life, and so having those connections can often provide you with new ideas, new opportunities, new chances to do different things and make other connections that will help you down the road. So that's a very valuable sort of basic career piece of advice. More specifically in B2B marketing, is the key is to understand your audience, how your audience buys, where they look for information, and keeping up with how those things change, because they do constantly change. The way that business-to-business buyers buy now is very, very different from the way that they went through their decision process back when I first got started in marketing. And even more recently, if you look back, say, 15 years ago, nobody was talking about blogging. I mean, you very rarely heard the words blog or blogging. And of course now those are very commonplace. 10 years ago, nobody was talking about Twitter or Facebook. 5 years ago, really no one was using the term content marketing. That sort of took off in about 2012. So obviously these things change constantly and over time, and so the key to being successful in this field, and if you're just starting out, is finding ways to keep up with, again, with your buyers, how their buying process works, how their information gathering process works, what they're looking for, where they're looking for it, and that's going to ultimately help you to be successful and stand out.
Well, thank you so much, Tom. Those are all great points, not only for companies, but for those seeking to improve their careers or getting started in a career. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Cece. Thanks for having me. An honor.